Hello YouTube family, welcome back to my channel and this week's Beauty Tuesday. In today's Beauty Tuesday we are going to go through my high-end makeup collection. So I have a lot of makeup, but I have been decluttering and I do declutter every now and then, but I wanted to do a video, so it's split it into two because I also wanted to go through my drugstore makeup collection, so I split it into two because otherwise it was going to be too long. But in today's video we are going to cover the high-end makeup collection that I have, but it's more or less only powder. So it's eyeshadow palettes, not my eyeshadow singles, but all palettes that I have. I have been taking away like the duos, the singles and the smaller ones. All my highlighters, bronzers, powders and blushes. And I'm also gonna do some decluttering while I am going through my collection. If there is anything that I want to declutter, I did do a pretty hefty declutter not long ago. And it's going to be a long video anyhow, so we better just dig right into it. So we start with the ones that I have the least from, and that has to be bronzers. So the high-end bronzers that I have, it's not so many, so we're just gonna go through them. So it's the Chanel Soleil Tan de Chanel. This is not powder, this is a cream bronzer, and I mean, I haven't been using it in a long time now, but I did love this one when I bought it, and I mean, it's looking very luxurious when I have it displayed, so I'm definitely gonna keep it. Then I have my Benefit Hoola bronzer, and I've been using it, I just forgot about it. I do like this bronzer and I'm gonna keep it for sure. I have it in Hoola bronzer. I think it's just one color, so like that one. Here is a Smashbox. This is actually not just a bronzer, it's a trio, but it comes with two different like contouring ones, and then we have one highlighter. I have been taking this along when I'm traveling. I don't use it for bronzing, I use it for contouring, but I like it, so I'm gonna keep it. And it's the Smashbox Step by Step Contouring Palette. The one that I'm used the most is my Kevyn Aucoin Sculpting Powder. So it's also a highlighter in there, but it's the sculpting powder that I use the most. And I love this because it's so sleek and little, so I can easily get it with me when I'm traveling or when I'm going like in my everyday makeup bag. It's Pure Midday Mirage Cheek Palette. Oh, this is the cheek palette, but it comes with like a bronzer, highlight and some blushes. I took this out not long ago and started to use it again, but I did forget about it for a long time. But I'm gonna keep it now, but not my favorite. And then we have the Kat Von D Shade and Light Sculpting Palette, and this one, as you can see, I have been using so much. This is my favorite one, but I use this for sculpting and also for highlighting, so this one I'm gonna keep for sure. So when it comes to bronzers, I did not declutter anything. As I said, it was not so long ago where I did like a ruthless declutter, so I don't think I'm gonna declutter so much today, but I'm gonna try, like if there's something that I feel like, no, I really do not use this, I'm gonna declutter it. So let's move along and go over to powders. So I do not feel like I have so many high-end powders, but I do have the crazy expensive La Mer The Powder. It's called The Powder. Honestly, I bought this along with the foundation and other things from La Mer, and the powder, I honestly do not use this powder, barely never. It's a loose powder, it's very expensive. I'm gonna keep it just because I spend so much money on it, but I barely never use it, so I would say do not spend your money on this powder. Makeup Studio Professional Makeup Translucent Powder. Honestly, I'm gonna get rid of this because every time I use it my under eyes get super dry. It's not so much left. I mean, I've used a lot of it. I don't know if you can see, but more than half the bottle. But I'm gonna declutter this. Laura Mercier, and I have two of the travel sized powder. One is the very raved about translucent powder, and one is the Secret Brightening Powder. I'm gonna keep both of them. I have been using them a little bit. I like them, but I cannot say that they are as good as, in my opinion, as many beauty gurus rave about, but I'm gonna keep them and play with them a little bit more. Then I have my Giorgio Armani. This I actually like. I have forgotten about this. This is the one that you can put, oh, here it says. It's the Luminous Silk Dual Use Powder Compact. So it's the Luminous Silk Compact Powder, and you're supposed to put this in a package, but I have it like this because it's easier when I'm traveling. Definitely like this. And then the last high-end powder that I have is It Cosmetic by Pore, and I like this powder. I use it just where I have some pores, and it do minimize the pores a little bit. I've been using it kind of much. But when it comes to powders, the thing is I have so many drugstore powders that I really love, and if you do want to check out my drugstore video where I go through all my drugstore makeup in the same categories as today, you have to check next week's Beauty Tuesday, because then is when I'm going through all my drugstores. But let's move along and go over to blushes. So I have two blushes from Marc Jacobs. One is called Reckless and one is called Obsession, and both are from their Shameless blush collection. And I did have some other blushes in this collection that I did get rid of, but these two I do like. I tend to go more for peachy blushes, this burgundy purple blushes. That could be very expensive. Didn't break, so that is good. Definitely gonna keep these two. And when it comes to blushes, I do not have so many blushes left because I did declutter a lot of blushes, but I do have two NARS blushes also. One is the Orgasm and one is the Sin. Sin is my number one and only blush that I love. Orgasm is very raved about. I don't see the hype. I do not love it that much, but I'm gonna keep both of them anyhow. Then I have one blush palette that I did spend a lot of money on, and it's the Hourglass blush palette. I have had it for so long, so I cannot even read what's the name of it, but it's some kind of luminous blush palette. I barely never use it anymore. When I bought it, I used this color a lot, and sometimes I just swirl my brush in all of them. But I'm gonna keep it just because I spent so much money on it, so I do not want to get rid of it. But would I repurchase it? No, I don't think so, to be honest. And then I have my Chicaton. It's from Benefit, and it's with like most of their blushes and also their Hoola bronzer. So I do have two Hoola bronzers. But this is a single and this is in a palette, so I'm gonna keep both of them. Smells amazing when I open it. I love all of these blushes, so definitely this Chicaton palette. I don't know if it's available anymore, but I love this palette, and I love to mix like Dallas and Rock. I think this is Rockature and Dallas. Just amazing. That was all the blushes, the bronzers and the powders. Let's move along to highlighters. Okay, so highlighters. My Hourglass Ambient Lightning palette. It's with three different, this is not highlighters, I would say. I use it as an overall glow, but I would say this is more like a bronzed highlighter. This one in the middle is more like a highlighter, but dim light is my favorite. I love dim light, and dim light I use like not a setting powder, but like a finish in my whole face to get like a glow. Definitely love this one, but I do have a good dupe for this one that I'm going to show you in a video soon. Very expensive, but I do love this palette. My Makeup Geek in collaboration with Kathleen Light palette has to be one of my most used palette, and I do go for this color the most. This one is not available anymore. Definitely gonna keep it because I love it so much. I've been using it so much, and I still have so much product, so it's crazy. Really love it. My Becca in collaboration with Jaclyn Hill, the Champagne Pop palette comes with two highlighters, Champagne Pop and then the Gold Pop, and then some blushes. I don't care for the blushes so much. I don't care for the highlighters so much, to be honest, either, but it was a limited edition palette and I do want to keep it just because of that sake, but honestly I do not reach for it that much. Then I have one, I used to have two. I have no idea where my, oh, it's broken, damn it. It's a Gerard Cosmetic highlighter in Audrey. I do have another one as well. This one is broken now, so I'm not gonna show you. Like, the thing that I like with Gerard Cosmetic is that they have this little plastic top here, so even when it's broken, the powder stays in. Good highlighter, I like it. I also have a small one of the dim light from Hourglass, and this one is also broken. Damn it. This one I use when I'm traveling. It's broken in one of the corners there, but you can still use it a lot. I also have another Hourglass. Okay, so this is another one. I honestly forgot that I had this one, but this one is not in the palette that I have. This is a big single. Honestly, I remember now, I used to use this as like a very subtle highlight. A Luminous Light is the name of it. Am I gonna keep this? I think I'm gonna keep this. I'm keeping everything. I'm the worst at decluttering. Jouer Ice. This highlighter is completely broken inside, but I absolutely love my Jouer Ice when I'm doing inner corner highlights. Definitely gonna keep this one. Then I have some strobe cream. So this is not powder product, but it's my MAC strobe cream. I don't use cream highlighters so much. I also have this Smashbox like a stick, Becca Opal, and this is just a travel sized. I honestly love when Sephora has this travel size in highlighters because you never use up a highlighter. The only thing that happens is that it's gonna break, but you never use it up. So I like this travel size. The RMS Beauty Living Luminizer. This is the worst money I have ever spent. Everyone was raving so much about this highlighter. It's a cream highlighter and it's not showing anything. So I'm gonna keep it just for the sake that I'm gonna remember myself not to ever buy a product like this again, but it was crazy expensive and I never use it because it doesn't show. My Laura Mercier Highlighter 1. This is also a very subtle highlighter. I do like to wear this one every now and then. I honestly had forgot a little bit about it, but I'm gonna put this in my beauty drawer and use it more. It's very nice when you don't want to have like a balm highlighter. The same thing goes for this MAC highlighter. It's Warm Rose. It's not even almost a highlighter, it's more like a setting powder, but with some glitter, like glim in it. Soft and Gentle, also from MAC. If we compare these two, the Warm Rose is a little lighter and not as shimmery, and the Soft and Gentle is just like a staple highlighter that can never go wrong. Maybe a little too glittery, but I do like it, so I'm gonna keep it, keeping everything. Laura Geller, this is like a trio with highlighter and bronzer. Honestly, this should be in the bronzer collection because I only use the bronzer, I never use the highlighter. I'm gonna keep it, but the highlighter is the worst, but the bronzer I do really like. I have another Laura Geller, and it's a duo with Baked Highlighter. This is Portofino and French Vanilla. I honestly like to just swirl my brush in here and take it as a highlighter. I do like this one. And then I have two loose highlighters, like luminizers. These are not highlighters. One is from Bella Pierre and one is from Iridol Minerals. And both of them are in these golden colors. I never use them as highlighters ever, but I do like to use them as eyeshadows. Maybe I should not keep both of them. I'm going to declutter one. I'm going to declutter this one. Okay, so I'm going to declutter the one from Iridol and I'm going to keep the one from Bella Pierre. So that was all the highlighters, my high-end highlighters. The same thing I have to say here. There are so many good highlighters that are from the drugstore or like lower price. So I honestly use my drugstore highlighters the most. So now we're gonna go through eyeshadow palettes, and I was crazy over eyeshadow palettes. I did collect eyeshadow palettes before, so I have been doing crazy declutter. I think I kept like 1/3 of everything that I had, so this is just 1/3 of everything that I used to have. So I don't think I'm going to declutter so much of it, but let's go through them and talk about them. My Kat Von D Shade and Light palette, love this one, use it all the time. I also have my Kat Von D Metal Matte palette. Honestly, I don't use this palette so much, but I am going to keep it because it was limited edition and I had to like hunt myself down to get this one. So I'm going to keep it and I like to have it displayed. Good quality. I used to have all the Kat Von D palettes, the butterfly, or like all the palettes. I got rid of all of them except for these two. And I have one Anastasia palette left and it's the Modern Renaissance, and I really love this palette. I use it a lot, very good quality, and it's the only one that I still have from Anastasia. I got rid of all my other Anastasia palettes. Makeup Addiction, I do have two palettes from Makeup Addiction, Flamingo Love and Meadow. Honestly, not reaching for them so much, but I do love the pops of colors here, and this color is to die for. What I do like is that you can pop out these ones and you can put them in your C palette if you're traveling or something. So I really like that. Sueva Beauty, I have one palette from them. The same thing here, you can pop this out. Don't reach for this so often, but I mean the pigments and everything is good. I'm gonna play with it a little bit more, then maybe I will get rid of it, but yeah, I'm gonna keep it for now. I have two palettes, like smaller palettes from Bobbi Brown. One of them I use a lot, one of them I don't use so much. This one that is with nude, to show them like this. With nude colors I like a lot when I'm doing like a no makeup day. This one, don't go for this one so much, but I'm gonna keep it anyhow because they are so cute. I love this package, but it's their like surf and sand palettes. Marc Jacobs, I have two of them left. It's the Starlet palette and the Lolita palette. I used to have all of this palette, but I only kept these two. So the Lolita palette, I love this palette. The Star palette I don't use so much, but it has nice metal colors that I do like for inner corner. I also have my big Marc Jacobs. This was in a holiday edition. Honestly, I think I've touched this palette 2 or 3 times. Good one. I'm gonna keep it because I just cannot get rid of this. I got rid of all my other Marc Jacobs palettes. These 3 is the only ones that I kept, so yeah. Then we have Too Faced, and I do have most of the Too Faced collections. I haven't bought the latest ones, but I do have this for the chocolate bonbon, the peach, the chocolate bar, and the chocolate sweet semi-chocolate bar. And honestly, I do not reach for them like ever, but it feels like this is palettes that you need to have in your collection because they are like so staple. So if you are a beauty lover, it's like you have to have them. They all smell very good and everything, but honestly, not my favorites so much. I used to love these palettes. They are kind of expensive. I'm gonna keep them just because it feels like I need to have them as a beauty lover, but not using them so much. I did my makeup with the Lorac palette, the Pro 1, the black one, and here's the Pro 2. The Pro 1 is my absolute favorite. Honestly, I don't bother to go and pick it up, but it's like this, but black. My favorite palette to travel with because it's so lightweight. The Lorac Pro 2 I don't use as much, but I like to have it in my collection. And the Lorac Gold palette, honestly, I have this palette more or less only for these 3 colors. Just amazing if you want to have like a pure nice gold pop of color. Urban Decay Naked 1 palette. The same thing here. I'm tired of this palette. I know this palette is my sister's favorite. I'm gonna keep it just because it's the same thing here. It feels like it's something you need to have in your beauty collection, but I do not love it so much anymore. And the Urban Decay Naked Smoky. It's good if you want to do like a smoky eye. I'm gonna keep it just because I don't know what to do with it. I don't want to throw it away. It's such a waste. But yeah, don't reach for those old palettes so much anymore. I also have the Urban Decay Naked Basic, that is the small one with only mattes. This one I love to have when I'm traveling. so I'm keeping that. I'm keeping all my high-end palettes, I think. It's not so many left. My Tartelette Tarte. Where is my... Oh, did I get rid of that? I think I got rid of my Tarte All Matte. I had a Tarte with all mattes also. I think I did not keep that and kept this one. My Tartelette in the Bloom, this is with shimmers and with mattes. This is a very good palette. Don't reach for it so much, but it's a good one. I just never reach for it. Makeup Geek in collaboration with Money MUA. I used to love this palette. The Viseart Basic 1 palette with all mattes. So it's this brownish kind of colors. Very basic, but it's very, very, very good matte colors. So definitely if you want to spend money on a good basic palette, this is a very good one. I honestly nowadays more reach for my Kat Von D. They are very comparable, but this one I will keep because it's such a good palette. I do have two MAC cosmetic palettes. One is their warm neutral and one is their cool neutral. Honestly, MAC eyeshadows, I think they are a little bit overhyped. I like to keep them just to have some MAC eyeshadows to refer to, but these are the only two MAC palettes that I have left. I don't feel like they are so pigmented and I'm not so much in love with them. But as I said, I like to keep them just to have something as a reference. Then we have the Too Faced Gingerbread Cookie. This is a palette from a winter collection. Came with 3 different palettes in a little house. I got rid of the other 2, but I kept this one. Why did I keep this one? I think it's because of this color. This Ginger Snap color is very, very pigmented. That was the worst swatch ever. Very pigmented, and that is more or less the only reason why I kept this palette, so I will continue to keep it just because of that one. Huda Beauty, I only have one Huda Beauty palette. I never bought the bigger ones, but I do bought this, and this is the Topaz Obsession. I have used it a few times, I really like it, and I can see myself buying more Huda Beauty palettes, but they are a little bit expensive, but they are very good size and you get a lot of different colors in there, so I really like that. Then I have my Natasha Denona palettes. These palettes are crazy expensive and I'm gonna keep them forever and ever just because I spend so much money on them. One is the ones with the more cool colors. The other big one is more with warm colors. And then I have this 10 pan palette with a little mix of colors. I have to say, Natasha Denona shimmers are amazing. It's one of the best shimmers except for my Makeup Geek foiled shadows that I have ever tried. I love them. I don't think I would buy any more Natasha Denona palettes as for right now because they are so expensive, but I really, really like them. Whew. Okay, so that was my whole high-end makeup collection when it comes to eyeshadow palettes, blushes, bronzers, highlighters and powders. I do have a lot of other eyeshadows. I have a few of these C palettes with mostly Makeup Geek single eyeshadows. And this one was broken, so now I have eyeshadows all over. Oh, it's almost dropped on the floor. Then you had been seeing me crying here. I'm not gonna go through my singles, but let me know if that is something you would like me to film. Okay, so that is actually going to be the end of this Beauty Tuesday video. I hope that you liked it. I was the worst at decluttering, to be honest. I only decluttered one highlighter and one powder, but to be honest and to be fair, I did declutter most of my makeup, so this is honestly like 1/3, at least from the eyeshadow palettes. It's only 1/3 of what I used to have, so I did a ruthless declutter before. And this is like half of my makeup collection. I do have the other half that I'm gonna go through in my next Beauty Tuesday, so stay tuned if you do want to check that video out. That is going to be only drugstore and affordable brands. And I have a lot of my favorites in that video, like favorites over the high-end ones. So I hope that you did like this video, and if you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, I would love for you to hit the little subscribe button so you can be a part of my YouTube family here. And with that being said, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I see you in my next video. But for this time, we say bye!